School.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Jackie.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for agreeing to meet with me and talk about the ALT-PRAC, or as I think you said at UBC, you called it the Overseas Field Experience?
Yes.
Or the International Field Experience?
Yep.
Okay. So let me start by asking you what advice you would give someone thinking of doing an overseas field experience in the UK.
The advice that I would give would be to come in with a really open mind and take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Schools here are like very different from what you might experience, what you might be used to in Canada. And I think it's really important to like keep an open mind and, you know, just see like there's so much you can learn. I think sometimes your first impression might be, oh, this is so different, like no way would I like, but there's so many fabulous teachers, so many like kind of situations that you might not experience in Canada, that there's so much you can learn from being here.
I'm smiling, Jackie, because if I think back, I remember one of the school leaders telling me that you actually went and gave a hand with some cricket coaching. Do you remember that?
It was football.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what did you enjoy most about your overseas field experience?
I enjoyed at the school the welcoming atmosphere and meeting the different staff and seeing them work. The teachers at my school are fabulous at their jobs and lovely people. So on my ALT-PRAC I made tons of friends and I learned so much about teaching all at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Did you feel welcome coming into a new public school in the UK as a Canadian?
I absolutely did. Especially at this school, they're used to having people from all over the world. It's a very multicultural place. And everyone was so welcoming. I was actually shocked like how welcoming people were. On the second day, people in the staff room were sitting down with me being like, who are you? How's it going? Like, tell me about Canada. And it was lovely. That was honestly, like I said, one of my favorite things about being here in the first place.
Okay, thank you. Why did you choose the UK?
I have like personal reasons for choosing the UK. Some of my family's from here. I've always wanted to live here. But I think for anyone, the UK is full of variety, and it's like Canada, but also not like Canada at the same time. There's so much to do. There's so many new experiences to have while not facing a language barrier or facing huge amounts of culture shock. But one thing I think is really interesting is the longer I've been here, the more I can see how different Canada and the UK are, which is, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah. I would have thought you'd have seen that on the first day. And then,
no, I don't know.
How different is the behaviour of students in the UK to what you were used to in Canada?
The behaviour is very different. Whereas in Canada, I felt like as a secondary school teacher, I struggled with apathy and getting them to say anything, getting them to care, getting them to pick up a pen. Where here, the students are full of energy, and as long as you can harness that into the learning, it's fabulous. Of course, sometimes their energy is directed towards having fun rather than learning, so it can be a bit louder, a bit more rowdy than Canada. But I think that the energy that the kids have is so cool, and that's why I really do like working here.
Okay. Can I throw in a final question to you? If somebody at any university in Canada say UBC for instance, if somebody was thinking about should I do an international field experience or not, what would be your advice? How do you feel you've changed or grown as a teacher or as a person?
Good question. I would say definitely do it. As long as you're willing to learn about other ways of doing things that you might not necessarily at first think are a good idea. And you might not ever think they're a good idea. But, you know, there's no point in going to a new school system if you're just going to write it all off as like, nope, I wouldn't do any of that. Because even if at first it's it's not what you think, or you think that would never work. I think what I've learned from being here is I've learned a lot of new strategies and ways of doing things that I wasn't taught in my teaching degree. That, I mean, they might not necessarily work in Canada, but they're just more tools in my toolbox of things to do, which I didn't even get in my university education classes. So
an extra breadth, an extra dimension to you as a teacher for when you go home to Canada.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to let you go soon. Jackie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.